Welcome back. Little Shop of Horrors is a new production by Redhill School that's centered around a musical that blends dark comedy, catchy tunes and an unforgettable story of ambition, love and self-discovery. With a bit of a twist, a new character is brought to life as a dazzling drag queen representing the confidence, the power and self-assurance that other characters long for. To share more on this modern and exciting reimagined production, we're joined by the director, Joseph Gerassi. Joseph, a very good morning. Thanks for joining us. Welcome.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me on.
I know I might not have done much justice, in my intro, in introducing this scintillating play. Just take us through what is it about, really?
Okay, so Little Shop of Horrors is a iconic production that was first produced in around about the 1950s, but obviously has changed over time. On the surface is just a really fun musical that has a man-eating plant that comes to life and wants to devour the world. And that's how it originally was put together. But when we looked at this particular production for a modern audience, and particularly for young people, we thought, what are the themes that underlie all of this, and how can we reinvent this plant that it's not just a puppet that opens up its mouth and talks, but that the spirit of the puppet can come alive and interact with the audience and with the different characters. And we kind of looked at all of the characters in the play are actually very insecure human beings. They have a very dull life, they go to work, they live in a very downtrodden area, the main characters work in a flower shop, and the lead character Seymour finds this plant and soon discovers that this plant wants blood from it. What we've kind of looked at is that this plant represents the confidence that we all have deep down inside ourselves that we often find very difficult to bring to the fore. So what does the flower actually then become as it develops? It takes the spirit of the drag queen. And we looked at this whole idea of a drag queen because when we see the embodiment of a drag queen, it is the confidence that each and every one of us would love to have. Once you've put on the makeup and the wig and everything else, you have this incredible confidence. And so the devouring of the people by the plant is really us and our insecurities being devoured by the confidence that we do have. And ultimately, at the end of the play, the characters are reborn as drag queens who show that the confidence that we have inside, if we just allow ourselves to break free, we can all become confident and powerful people and get rid of those insecurities.
Interesting. And the fact that the original story is traced back to the 1950s, so to what extent has it been reinvented, to reflect the modern day challenges, to reflect the modern day themes that we've grown accustomed to?
Look, I think a lot of the themes are themes that haven't changed over time, we do go back to the eras of the 1960s. The three girls that play the Greek chorus as such, their names are like Crystal, Renette, and they're after Motown and the girl groups of the Motown era, and they take us through this entire story. And we've got, the kids are just absolutely amazing in this production. And Redhill is known for its productions. We're often nominated for our productions for Naledi Awards, and often our students who graduate from Redhill go on to be nominated for professional Naledi Awards. We've just had one of our students, Nick Hutton, who's just been nominated for a professional Naledi Award. So we're very proud of the work that we do. Our sets, our costumes, you walk into the theatre, you think you were in a real theatre. We have a live band on stage that is playing with the kids. And the leads, the entire cast is just they're so incredible on stage. You'd actually think you were in a professional live theatre.
Right. Joseph, we're within Human Rights Month in March, and I see that the themes that are encapsulated in this play are that of identity, self-worth, and embracing one's, true self. Just how significant is this play, in the month of Human Rights Month?
Look, I think it's very, very important in the month of human rights, because I think each and every one of us wants, as I said, we often don't feel that we have the kind of rights that we deserve, and we often keep those rights down. We're scared to be able to say the type of things that we want to say. We're scared of hurting other people, of saying the wrong thing. And this production really talks about those things, that if you actually embody your inner self and you allow yourself to have that confidence, then you can actually come out and be able to say the type of things and fight for the type of things that you really need to be able to say. And this play really does embody it. It shows how all of these characters come out with that. We also have a character in the play, and there's a lot of looking at misogyny. The one character who plays the dentist really slaps his girlfriend around. She's the lead in the play. And we deal with a lot of issues around women violence, and that comes across very, very strongly. But Redhill really does look at these type of things. You can see I'm wearing my Red Fest. Yes. So, you know, Red Fest comes about in the month of June, and we celebrate the entire 4 days there around Youth Day. So we have 4 days of like having a festival, an arts festival at our school. And at Redhill, we try and look to connect with a lot of the holidays that we have in South Africa, the commemorations that we have in South Africa. Youth Day is very important to us. Human Rights Day is very important to us. And the kind of productions that we produce often deal with these kind of themes.
Right. And earlier on, you mentioned something quite interesting and quite thought-provoking, I would say. The fact that in 2025, we're still not able to express our rights freely, and our rights to self-expression are quite subdued. Why do you think that is? And in what way or in what extent does Redhill try to bring up some of those issues?
I think we're always worried about what people are going to say about us. How do we, when we express ourselves? And specifically if we're talking about young people, we look at kind of gender identity. Children are really worried about these kind of issues. These lead to a lot of anxiety, mental health problems. Who are they? They're going through this whole period of growth, of trying to understand who they are. What Redhill allows our children to be able to do is to express themselves absolutely freely, whether it is their religion, their race, their sexual identity, their gender identity, and we play with a lot of these themes in all the productions that we do. Last year we did Chicago, and there we played with a lot of the ideas of identity and how people feel, the media, and how we come across, and we teach our children to be stand-up citizens who have a voice and who can articulate themselves really, really well. So we try and get our students to be the leaders of the future, to be able to say what they need to say. And this production, Little Shop of Horror, you'll see how the characters really do come to the fore and talk about their own identities. And that we're very brave in turning the lead character, which is the plant, into a drag queen. And there's a lot that can be said about that.
Joseph, all the best, man. Thank you so much for joining us here.
Thank you very much.
We appreciate your time. Well, we just spoke to Joseph Gerassi on the Redhill School's fresh interpretation of the beloved classic Little Shop of Horrors.